What's up guys, Mike here, and today I am rocking a Shawn Kemp jersey because honestly, I can't find my Derrick Rose jersey. But anyway, as you guys know, I try to stay as unbiased as possible when I'm making my videos. Now the reason I do that is that I think that's only fair to you guys, and also I'm just a huge fan of the NBA and basketball in general. I love watching great players play the game above anything else, and I don't let my personal fandom get in the way of that. With that said, I am a Bulls fan, so this Derrick Rose trade has actually had a huge impact on me. Because Derrick Rose isn't just another NBA player for me. Ever since he was taken by the Bulls with the #1 pick, he's been my favorite player. It's hard to put this in words, but for the past few years, I've cared just as much about how Derrick has done as I've cared about how the Bulls are doing. I've watched him in Bulls games, of course, but I've also watched him in Team USA stuff and things like that. And to me, it doesn't feel like just watching another player, it feels like a family member. I'm that into his performance. Like, if Derrick misses a shot in a Team USA game, I honestly feel really upset. Like, I really want this man to do well. And that's because I just want him to succeed after everything he's been through. And now, after this trade, he's gone. He's no longer the hometown kid playing for his hometown team. He's no longer playing for my favorite team. And to be honest with you guys, I've never really experienced this before. I've never had a player I care about this much leave my team. It's going to be really weird for me watching him in a Knicks jersey, but as I said, I want to stay as unbiased as possible as I make my videos. And from an unbiased perspective, I think this is absolutely the right move for the Chicago Bulls as long as they still trade Jimmy Butler. I know he wasn't traded in the draft, but the Bulls still have plenty of time. To be honest, a lot of blockbuster trades usually don't happen during the draft. They happen after, at the end of the summer, or even during the regular season. And with that said, I have some tough love for Bulls fans right now. The current Bulls roster was never going to compete for a championship. In the next 4 to 5 years, they are not going to beat the Warriors. They are not going to beat the Cavs, and they're not going to beat whatever team Durant goes to. There was a reason that they didn't even make the playoffs this year. None of the pieces fit. It was basically like seeing a fantasy basketball team in real life. Derrick and Jimmy both wanted the ball in their hands the majority of the time. Powell wanted to play in the post when the Bulls' offense was supposed to be centered around movement and spacing. I mean, there comes a time where you just have to accept that it's not going to work out, and that this group of players is not going to win a championship. It's better that the Bulls know this now and trade away players while they can still get assets, rather than stay in the dreaded middle of the NBA. Not contending for a title, but not getting awesome draft picks either. And speaking of draft picks and tanking, that is what the Bulls need to do right now. They need to tank. They need to let Pau Gasol go in free agency. They need to let Joakim Noah go in free agency. And above all else, they need to trade Jimmy Butler for a package that gives them young players and draft picks. That is the smartest move by far. Listen, I'm a Bulls fan. I watch basically every game. Jimmy Butler is not a player you can build around to win a championship. I'm not saying anything bad about the man. He would be an awesome second or third guy on a title contender as long as he buys into the system. But he's just not a superstar. He's not LeBron, he's not Durant, he's not Curry. And in the NBA, you need a superstar to win the championship. It's just that simple. Plus, if you keep Jimmy, then what was the point of trading Derrick? You're basically half-assing a tank instead of fully committing to it, which again will leave you in the dreaded middle of the NBA. And so with that said, the Bulls' future is actually pretty solid as long as they trade Jimmy and get some young players and draft picks. Next year's draft is potentially loaded, so it makes sense to just tank this season and pick up a great young prospect in one of the most hyped up drafts in recent memory. There's no shame in taking a step back if in the future it allows you to take 3 steps forward. The Timberwolves traded away Kevin Love, tanked, and got Karl Anthony Towns. The Pelicans traded away Chris Paul, tanked, and now have Anthony Davis. Even the Spurs were forced into a tank when David Robinson got injured, and that ended up landing them Tim Duncan, an NBA legend who has forever changed their franchise. Now I know that trading away all-star talent doesn't always work out, but in this situation I think the Bulls need to do this. It's the right move. What might look like a crappy situation for the Bulls today could turn into a sick draft pick in next year's draft. Remember, in the NBA, you never know when what looks like something bad could really be a blessing in disguise. And while trading Jimmy looks bad now, building around young players, Doug McDermott and Nikola Mirotic is really in the Bulls' best interest. And as for Derrick Rose, I will always be rooting for that man. He's meant so much to the city of Chicago. He's meant so much to Bulls fans everywhere. He's the hometown kid who actually lived his dream and became the MVP of the NBA, only to have injuries ruin his career for now. And I know a lot of you guys might not believe in him. I know with his injury history, it doesn't make sense to believe in him. but honestly, Derrick Rose is by all accounts one of the nicest players in the NBA. One of the hardest working players in the NBA. If there's anyone who didn't deserve this type of career, it's him. But after seeing just how hard he's worked to come back from these injuries, I think that if there's anyone who can return to an all-star level after multiple surgeries, it's him. I wish my man Derrick all the best. Even though he's not a Bull, I'm still going to be cheering him on every single chance I get. Because he's on the Knicks, I'm going to be watching as many Knicks games as possible, and he'll always be one of, if not my favorite player. And so thanks for watching, guys, and one quick note. If the Bulls don't plan to rebuild and instead are planning to sign free agents and think they can compete with the roster they have right now, then I take back everything I said about Derrick Rose. I think this would be the dumbest trade in Bulls history. So hopefully that does not happen, but anyway, to my loyal subscribers, you guys are so awesome. Thank you for supporting me. And if you haven't subscribed already, I make videos like this. I go into NBA history. I make what ifs. I look at conspiracies. I do a lot on this channel, so it would be awesome if you subscribe. And as always, guys, have an awesome day and cue the music.